years, actor extraordinaire, the GC, trying himself the SSA of Champion of the World. Mr. JP Will, how you doing, buddy?
Woo-hoo! Man, I just watched the first half of Last of Us, and so I'm like, I don't know what to think right now. My brain is scrambled right now. I don't know if you've watched it yet. But,
no, I didn't realize it came on, or it started this week. And like last night, I was trying to get to bed early, and last night at like 11:30, I was just like cruising through YouTube, and it's like Last of Us, like explain, all the explainer videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck.
Right.
I'll watch it tomorrow though. I got too much to do today. What'd you think so far though?
Oh, because that, dare I say,
I
the Last of Us.
You played it.
Yeah, it's. Gosh, this is tough to say, but it's probably my favorite video game of all time.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, it just hits so many levels. It's, emotional, it's scary, it's exciting. And I was thinking, man, if they do half of what they did on the game in the show, it's going to be a huge, huge success. And I won't say much because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm really liking it so far. I'm halfway through.
Is it like, do you feel like it's a faithful adaptation?
So far, yeah.
Okay, that's good, because that's the thing. Like I bang on and on about the Resident Evil movies and like how it's a great story, and so often they take a video game property and they're just like, we're just gonna not do the thing that people love and that made this popular.
Yeah,
we're not gonna do that. Why would we do that?
Well, what's great about this show is one of the creators is the guy who created the game.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you need that voice to be like, look, man, there's a reason this was popular. Just let us. Just do the thing. Just do the fucking thing.
And I think HBO really fucked up not getting The Walking Dead. So they're just like, yeah, you got it? Okay, go. Just do your thing.
Plus, we got Pedro doing his thing.
Pedro.
I'll give you all the Pedro, please.
Oberyn,
Yeah.
And, was that his name on Game of Thrones? I forget.
Oberyn.
Oberyn, not Oberyn
Martell. The Viper.
Yeah, he's great. He's fucking killing it. Although I did mention it on a past episode, apparently Soldier Boy himself, Jensen Ackles, lobbied hard for this part, and I would have been all for it for that part too, because he's great.
He is great, but I mean, I'm never gonna say no to more Pedro.
No, Pedro's great. Big fan of his, and he's killing it right now.
Yeah. Well, today, for what we're here, for the reason we're here, our feature presentation is the third installment in the Predator franchise. Predators.
Man, we talked about this. I hated this movie when I saw it in the movie theater, and you were just like, I did too, but I watched it again recently. Give it a shot. I think it'll change your mind. And you know what? Maybe I was too much of a purist in my early 20s when this movie came out.
Yeah.
God damn, this movie is great. It's a lot of fun.
It's really good, and it ties into like a lot of the things that should make you like it if you like the franchise. Because I watched it this time because I'd watched it recently and come to that conclusion. I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
So I watched it this time. I'm like, what made me hate it before? And I really don't have an answer. I think it's just it was different.
It was different.
Yeah. Like I wanted more touch. Like
like
but it changed up the setting, and I'm like, I just wanted more of the same. I was just a piggy that wanted the same slop every day.
Of course.
But that's not good. Like that's not a good idea. That's boring and uninteresting, and who cares? And this takes it in a different direction that I think is actually really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, our brains are more seasoned. Our palates are more open now that we've gotten older.
I already to change.
Yeah, I think we were just like, the original Predator's the best one. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
But now we've opened our horizons a little bit, and we enjoy something for what it's worth. And it was, a fairly decent homage. And yeah, it was fun.
It also helps that at the time, pretty much everyone in there, like, you didn't know who they were. There's some big names in there. Like now.
Huge. I mean, a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
Adrian Brody won a fucking Oscar. Granted, he does a lot of straight to DVD movies.
Yeah,
now.
he does like geezer teasers, but like for a middle-aged man.
Yeah. But I mean, Danny Trejo, of course, always awesome. Walt Goggins, the fucking man.
Dogs, man.
Alice Braga.
Before we get into that.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No. I know. I get excited too. I have to.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Before we get into that, what have you been watching, reading, seeing, doing this week?
So The Last of Us, for sure. Highly recommend that so far. I can't imagine them going too far off the rails in the last half of the first episode. So based on what I've seen so far, highly recommend it. We watched, so Haley was in the mood for like a true crime documentary. And so on Showtime, while we have Showtime until, for the next couple of weeks before we cancel it, right. Because I forgot to cancel it in the free trial. So I paid for a month.
If you do it through Apple, like the second you subscribe to something, go into your subscriptions, like on your phone, and you cancel it immediately, but it still ends at the end of your trial. So you just you don't you're gonna forget. You just do.
Yeah, I know. I need to do it the second.
Like that was life changing for me because I forget everything. But if I do it if I do it in that moment as I've ordered it and then I do the cancel immediately, that's the only way I can do it without paying for it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. But yeah, we watched the first. It's 2 episodes in a 4-episode true crime doc about Phil Spector. About you know who Phil Spector was, right? Yeah, the music producer. And we watched the first 2 episodes of that. And man, he was responsible for so many huge songs. But man, he was a troubled man.
Dude.
But yeah, and then Haley had never seen Die Hard with a Vengeance. So we watched that.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, she's like, this is so ridiculous. But I was like, but it's a lot of fun, isn't it? She's like, it's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I think we've done 2 Die Hard. We've done 1 and 2, but we haven't done that one.
Yeah, we got to do that one. That one is, wow. That one is so great. And it's directed by John McTiernan, who did the first one.
Next time Samuel L. has a movie come out, we'll have to do that tie-in.
Maybe when his Marvel show comes out or something.
Oh, yeah, Secret Invasion. Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, but that's kind of it on my end. What about you? What have you been watching, reading, seeing, doing this week?
Not a whole lot. Bad Batch still. I went and binged the whole first season because I don't remember a thing. I remember not really liking it that much, but I really the second time through. It's a little more like kid-ish. Like earlier. But which I mean totally understand. It's animated,
Yeah, of course.
Not for me. It's fine. But there are some, and they're kind of getting into it now. There's some there's the actual Clone Wars TV show is actually for a kids show. It's pretty dark.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
It deals with some pretty heavy themes and essentially these soldiers are just slaves, bred with no choice, and they're just it's pretty awful, and to go into their mindset and we're getting a little more of that as the Republic changes over to the Empire, and they're just like, oh wait a minute, this is fucked up. I don't like this. So that's good. I've also been on a binge, which ties in nicely to this movie. I've been binging that 70s show for some reason.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been on Peacock. I'm through first 6 seasons, but our good boy Topher Grace is in that.
Yeah.
He's great.
Eric Foreman.
Yep. And we see him flexing his acting muscles in this too. I have thoughts on him, but we'll get to. But yes, it's good to see him pop up. I like him.
Yeah, and speaking of that new one is coming out too. That 90s show is coming out soon.
Are they trying another one? Yeah, because they did that 80s show, which Glenn Howerton was in.
Yeah, that was his first big part, and it failed miserably. Yes. But that 90s show, it's basically Eric Foreman's daughter goes and lives with his parents. Topher's parents.
Yeah,
Red and Kitty.
Yeah.
She stays with Red and Kitty, and basically It's basically just a reboot of that 70s show. They're smoking weed in the basement and stuff like that, but it's all that their friends and then
like salvia and like bath salts.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it sounds
amazing. So I can't remember the name of the woman who plays Kitty, but she's so good.
Oh my God, she's amazing. She's so funny when she gets drunk.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of like make her a caricature, like she's just kind of a psychopath, but she's really good at that in the later seasons. So I get why they leaned into it. It kind of sucks for her character because it's just like she becomes a joke. That's like a woman who has menopause, so she's automatically crazy, which is kind of shitty. Yeah. But she's just so good at it. I kind of see why they were like, oh
yeah, yeah. And then our boy from RoboCop, Red Foreman, he's so good.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Bitches leave. So good. But yeah, I'll just use that segue to move us on to our movie. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's get into our feature presentation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Predators from 2010 to 65% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and 52% from the audience, directed by Nimrod Antal, starring Adrien Brody as Royce, Alice Braga as Isabel, Topher Grace as Dr. Edwin, Walton Goggins as Stans, Oleg Taktarov as Nikolai, and Lawrence Fishburne as Noland.
Yeah, great cast. And they've, like you said, at the time they were all kind of character-y, maybe TV actors, and now they're all just like killing it, especially Goggins. Trejo is great. The Russian dude is awesome. He's been in a bunch of random shit.
He's really great. Good.
Yeah.
And Mahershala Ali's in there. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, Mahershala, the two-time Oscar winner?
Yeah, I don't even know. He's a force, though.
Yeah, Blade. I mean, even though who knows if that Blade movie will ever get made? They keep firing screenwriters and directors. And
yeah, it's like we're seeing something that we don't usually see with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's just like they announce something and it's like, ooh.
Yeah,
that's more of like a Sony or Star Wars thing.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see.
Hopefully, it doesn't go the way of our good buddy Emmy's Inhumans, which is the only Marvel thing that didn't work, of course, which is what he was in. Like, what a bummer. It was supposed to be a movie, and then it just got turned into a TV show that was not great. Like you book a Marvel thing, and they're so consistent. It's like, okay, I'm set. Like, my gravy train's good now. So, of course, the one thing, Psych! Books is the only single, and it's through no fault of his own or anyone involved or any actor involved.
No, not at all.
That's with what they had to do with, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Seriously.
All right, let's get into it. We start with the pianist going full Tom Petty, just free falling through the sky. Adrien Brody.
Free falling.
Yep, just freaking out. It's a great way to jump into it, I think. Then we get like title cards. Get on the ground. Royce, who is... So, I think what bothered me about this, I think it's the Adrien Brody being like the lead, like badass. Like,
I agree. Same here.
I still don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if he's doing a good job, and I just have this idea in my head of who he is, and that's too much to overcome, or if he's not doing a good job. And I can't. He's like walking this weird line. Usually I can make a decision and be like, okay, that's a bad, I just didn't feel that performance, or I think it works, but I just don't know. And I think that's what did it for me.
I agree. Yeah, I think because I'm trying to see when he won. Okay, he won his Oscar for The Pianist in 2002. So this was 8 years after he won the Oscar. But yeah, I mean, like, I never saw Adrien Brody as an action star. I'm like, okay, that dude's an actor. He's a great comedic actor. And then he pops up in Wes Anderson movies from time to time. Yeah. But do I believe him as like a black ops soldier? No matter how jacked he gets.
And he was jacked.
Jacked.
Yeah.
Jacked.
I mean, that helped. That scene helped. We almost needed a shirtless scene, like to begin with. Like his shirt gets torn off when he falls or something. To be like,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
okay, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that was the big thing, you know, because with Predators, you go from Arnold and all of his guys in the first movie, and even in the second movie, you have Dan Glover, who's a badass. You have Bill Paxton, who's a badass, and then I'm sorry, I forget the woman's name in Predator 2, but also a badass. Yeah, I think her name's Maria Alonso. I want to say she's badass.
Yeah, I mean, he's also doing like his Christian Bale Bruce like Batman. He's like,
yeah,
still getting like this. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, and then and then I think the Topher Grace thing threw me out too, because I was all that '70s show and like that. I actually now watching it back, I think that's good. I think that's solid. I think he does a really good job.
Yeah, totally.
But at the time, I couldn't get over. It's like that's just Eric Foreman. Like I don't know. Like I think I just didn't want to see Eric Foreman as like a psycho serial killer, you know?
Yeah.
But now that I have some room from it, I think he did a really good job, and I think that was actually
sure.
Okay casting. But yeah, I think I can't point to anything that Adrian Brody did that I'm like, ugh, like that stunk. It's just something felt off.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I agree there.
A little square peg and round hole kind of thing.
I feel like they could have gotten, I don't know, dare I say they could have gotten somebody better at that time. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does a good job with what he's given. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's almost like an intangible thing I can't quite quantify or express properly. It's just something about it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't. I didn't believe him.
Yeah, and it's almost like I didn't want to. Like I couldn't dive into that and be accepting of it. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
But moving on, Royce meets all the others on the ground. Basically everyone's horrible.
Just, horrible, but like badass people.
Yeah, that's probably the other thing that turned me off. Is just like there's actually no likable, really. Like Isabel Alice Braga, like she's, I guess, the closest thing to like a likable, stereotypical of leading role kind of.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I couldn't think of the word either.
I knew that wasn't right. Yeah, she's like the closest thing to it. And honestly, I think the movie almost would have been better if maybe she had a little more gray to her. Because no one else is like a good person, really. Like they do decent things, like here and there, but they're all bad people. And I think that does work. At least I think this was a little before its time for that. Because now it's like the world of the anti-hero. After we get our Tony Sopranos and our Walter Whites and everything that we all know. I think the audience understands that now. I mean, some of the best sitcom or shows on TV are like Always Sunny, where everyone's just awful.
Yeah. But they're almost, it's funny because they're so awful you can't help but laugh at them and like them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they do. It's just, and this has elements of that, as weird as that is to say, because you do start to like every time I want to like Walton Goggins' character, he says something like horribly bigoted or racist. Or just awful. Every time I think I'm like, I like. Oh no, I don't. No, I don't. Boy.
But he's, taking it back to believable. He is really, really believable as that fucking.
He says awful
person.
things, but he's supposed to be an awful person. You're not supposed to like him. I think you're supposed to be like, oh, I'm starting to enjoy this dude. No. There's a reason.
But that's also like a really well-rounded character too, because that's the first thing they'll tell you when you're playing a bad guy. Like if you're acting and you're playing a bad guy, like the bad guy doesn't think of himself as the bad guy.
Yeah, everyone's the hero in their own story.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it also, Walton Goggins is just such a likable dude. Just everything I know about him, seen about him, it's just his charm and charisma kind of just cuts through even when he's saying horrible things.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, they all start to like talk amongst each other, you know, and get their bearings and figure out a little bit about each other and background and everything. Like Mahershala Ali's character is like a death squad from Sierra Leone. Like the Russian guy is like a fighting in Chechnya. Like he's like a Spetsnaz kind of special forces Russian dude. Royce is like a mercenary. I think he used to be like former U.S. Special Forces.
Yeah.
And then you have like the stereotypical Yakuza guy.
Got the Yakuza guy. Danny Trejo is, you know, like a cartel heavy hitter in Tijuana.
Yep. Yeah, you got all walks of life. And then it's just Topher Grace, like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, right. He's just, he's really out of his element, man.
Yeah, and he seemed out of place at first, too. And part of that was because we just know Topher Grace from that 70s show. And it's just like, what is this? And it's almost like jarring and kind of bumped me, I think, at the beginning. But then knowing, like, after seeing the movie and then being able to revisit it, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because he's almost playing like a little Eric Foreman at the beginning. You're like, all right.
Yeah, seriously.
But that's perfect for his character. You just don't really know what's going on yet, which is fine. So yeah, we learn all that. They start like working through the jungle, eventually come across like some crate that was parachuted in. So they're like, what's going on? And then it springs a bunch of traps, which is like kind of a nice little, there's some more like there's some in your face, but there's some nice little subtle callbacks to the original.
Yeah.
Like this was a lot like their first try at Crab and the Predator, where, you know, they used like, or not their first try, but like their second try when they used like environmental traps, you know, they'd use like vines,
with the sharp sticks that come down or like grab your foot and you know.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool to see. Figure out like they all basically escape the traps and find like this dead special forces guy, and they're like, oh, he set these, but like they didn't get triggered and now he's gutted. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he's like, traps weren't meant for us; they were meant for something bigger.
Yeah, they do the thing. It's like the log that comes down. He's like, the rule of thumb is like 5. You do like the weight 5 times more than whatever you're trying to capture, and it's just like this 1-ton log. They're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, seriously. And even like speaking of callbacks, there's, you know, a lot of the same like musical cues, and
the same
soundtrack is very similar.
Yeah, which you need like that.
Yeah,
so good. So yeah, they keep like learning bits and pieces more. They come to a clearing and realize, yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore. Like, we're on another planet. That's a great shot, though. While that,
so cool.
It's just like 3 planets on the horizon. They're like, uh-oh. Fuck. Like, this is a really kind of nihilistic movie.
Oh, incredibly nihilistic, and just like, we're gonna need a new plan.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat scene. Like, but that's when shortly after this, some like beasts of burden attack, which I like their design as far as being scary. But like, how do those things eat?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Like how they have these huge horns and tusks that extend, which are scary looking when they're coming at you. But it's like, I just wonder how they eat. Like, how do you get in there? I can just picture them like, oh man.
And he like keeps getting it caught in his tusks. And
yeah,
like, I'm just hungry, man. How about when the Yakuza guy is shooting? Did you notice that his gun? It's not just like a straight muzzle flash. It's in the shape of an X.
Oh yeah, he has a like not a suppressor, but it's like it's for recoil, like gas power to like push it down a little bit. Like it's an extra.
Oh.
So you can maintain accuracy while firing at high rates. Sorry.
Oh no! Thank you for saying that. 'Cause I thought it was just, I thought it was just something that they added for the movie. I was like, hey,
yeah,
that looks dope.
Yeah. Plus, it looks cool. I mean, there's that too. But yeah, that's the practical purpose of it. That's what it's supposed to do. So yeah, they're like really bad shots, by the way.
Horrible shots. And Oleg has a fucking minigun.
Yeah, he's got the Jesse Ventura MTV minigun. Which terrible shot. But they kill most of them. But right when Isabel's about to get got, there's this like a little dog whistle calls them all back.
Yeah. Oh.
Which I like that too, because it turns out they're just like the dogs on a fox hunt, you know. They're just there to like flush the game out, and they all very quickly like understand what's going on, which I think that might have bothered me at first too. But it's like, well, they are supposed to be like the best at what they do, so I guess I can get on board with like they know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's just like, this planet is game preserved. We're the game.
It does have a lot of those kind of great cheesy 80s action movie lines.
Yeah, this was more of an 80s movie than a 2010 movie. This was made at the wrong time. Like, the 2010s were not a time for a movie like this.
This should have been made in like 92.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Somewhere in the 90s, mid to early 90s. So yeah, they're like, we're being hunted, whatever. They notice one guy's missing. It's Danny Trejo. I actually really like this scene because they're using him as bait. He's just like, oh man, like they only see his back. It's really creepy, and they're just like, nah.
Nope.
That's a trap. They do their Mad Max. That's bait.
You know? Like, how do you know? And he's like, because I would have done that.
Yeah. Also, he like throws a little rock, and like there's a little space bear trap that pops up, and he's like, Isabel is like the conscience of the group. So like, we gotta do something. And everyone else is like, fuck him, he's dead. I love Walton Goggins. He's just like, we can't do anything, right? Like he's trying to like talk himself and everyone else into it. He's like, yeah, like almost like, oh, we should, but like we can't though, right? Like, right?
Yeah.
Right? And everyone's thinking that he's just verbalizing it, which is kind of great.
Yeah.
So they all like move on, except Isabel's like gonna put him out of his misery, shoots him. Terrible shot, but she's a terrible shot. Not in this scene, but for someone who's supposed to be like a sniper, not a great shot.
No, a lot of these people for being the top of their game, they're all really bad shots.
Yeah, and part of that's just the story dictates, but
sure.
But yeah, I noticed. But I do like she shoots him and like goes to move on, and then you still hear "help me," and it's just them like trying to
creepy.
Yeah, that was really creepy and great. It was just them trying. He was dead the whole time. He Sixth Sense. He was dead the whole time.
And I loved watching this movie again because I don't think I'd seen it since it came out. So it's been 12 years since I've seen it, and so everything was new to me.
Oh, nice. I like that. So they're like, yeah, whatever. We don't know what to do. What are we gonna do? You know, everyone's freaking out. Adrian Brody Royce, he's like, we gotta go after the hunters. Like they expect us to run. If we run, we die. So we're gonna like basically hunt them. You know, flip the script. And so they follow like where the dog tracks went, and it leads them to like this little predator base camp where they got like tanned hides all over the place, and like
dead hanging bodies. But then there's like a predator skull, and they just walk right over it. And I think, did nobody notice this giant alien skull that they're just walking over?
Yeah, it's probably because there was another giant predator just tied up, like crucified there.
Yeah,
I'd have taken that. Yeah, and he's just tied up and like,
and they think he's dead. And all of a sudden, it's alive.
Yeah. The Russian guy like taps him with his little minigun and is like, man, James Cameron, Mandibles, good call.
So great.
That was his addition to the Predator franchise. Well, give him Mandibles.
Didn't he just draw like on a plane or something?
Something like that. It was just like one note, and it was like, yeah, nailed it, James.
Great. Cool. Yeah. I mean, clearly he's the best at what he does.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And after all this, the Predators attack. They take out Mahershala pretty brutally.
He got it real bad.
Yeah, gets stabbed everywhere from one of the cloaked predators. Everyone kind of scatters. There's like, you don't know how many predators there are. Like at the end, they just kind of like all start like coming up. I think there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people do like a fall off a cliff into water thing,
like Dutch does in the first movie.
There's a lot of little like nods, which I kind of liked. So they find out there's a bunch of them. Royce was basically like using them all as bait. Like he just like fucked off when right before the attacks. They're like, wait, where's he at? And then everyone attacked. He was just like using him to be like, to understand what was going, like what he was up against. Dick move, but like strategically, I guess. Yeah. So they learn more about him. He's like, now I know how many there are. Now I know like that they're big and they're stronger than us. Now I know that they can cloak themselves. They use energy weapons, etc., etc. So that's when he gets Isabel to admit she knows like more about him than she's leading on. Because when she saw the one tied up, she was just like pooping herself.
But also she wasn't pooping herself as bad as everybody else. And he's like, why don't you tell them the truth? She's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you didn't react like we all did when we saw that thing. What's the truth? So she tells the whole big picture, which is a great way to kind of bring Arnold back into the movie without showing his face.
I thought this was a really good tie-in because he essentially just like says the plot of the first movie. Like the special forces team, the CIA liaison went into the jungle and in like 87 or whatever it was, and only one guy came out. Like it hunted all of them, and then like his like after action report was like they did this and this, and like the only way he survived, he finally beat him because he cloaked himself by using mud to suppress his heat signature, etc., etc. So you like real quick, like Spark Notes, 30,000 foot explanation of the first movie.
Yeah, I really want a Dutch movie. I want it.
I know. There's been so much talk about like bringing him back in different movies, and credit to Arnold. He's like, nah, it's just not the right one. Like they really wanted to bring him back in like the Predator, the Shane Black one. Like the comics are really cool, like because they expand on him a lot. Like he's like to the point, like he's just basically like a whole, like they even talked about bringing him back for this one. You might have some trivia on that, so I don't want to step on it too much. But like they do you?
I don't think so actually.
Like they wanted to like bring him back like towards the end, and like he was leading like a group of like predators. Like he basically turned like, now I'm like a hunter kind of thing.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's been some interesting ideas, and like in the comics, it's kind of the way he's gone kind of crazy, and like like he's just trying to hunt these things, and they also use like his brother, who's just him. Like I can only assume there were like rights issues. So that's why there's just.
Like, I remember you told me about that.
It's like Bruce Schaefer now, or whatever. He's just as jacked and he looks exactly like him, but. Yeah, there's been some good comics. Check those out.
I gotta check it first.
The best, of course, being the first Predator versus Batman, which is, I'm talking the first one. It's incredible. It ends with Bruce Wayne beating up the Predator with Earth's greatest weapon, a Louisville Slugger.
Yes.
Just wallops him with a baseball bat. So yeah, we get that nice little nod to what came before. Start to formulate a plan. They set a trap basically, and make the doctor the rabbit. Have him run. He's just cannon fodder. He sees something chasing him and gets shot right before it gets him. But it's not a predator. So that's the other like the lore behind it. Like I want a sequel to this. Like I want to see them like 5 years, 10 years out, and like they're basically Lawrence Fishburne now,
Yeah, they're trying to find a way off the planet.
Yeah, and maybe they've like accumulated a team throughout their, people who survived or was good enough, and like, yeah, I would like to see that. I think that would be cool.
God, that would be great. Even if it was just, direct streaming like a Netflix or an HBO original or something.
Yeah, I think there are tie-in comics, but I want to see that like for real.
Same.
So yeah, because this like expands on the lore because we don't know what this thing was. It wasn't a predator. It's just some alien
Yeah.
that was coming after them. Like it wasn't like one of their dogs. My take was it was just another hunting
thing for them to hunt
from some other world because they wouldn't just take humans. They'd take anyone from any alien planet.
Whatever's the most formidable opponent.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to know about that whole race of aliens or whatever. Like, what's their deal?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then what shot the thing wasn't even Isabel. She missed. So they're like, what the hell's going on? That's when they meet Morpheus, basically.
What the fuck are you? Fishburne.
Yep, that's Nolan. He's big bag of cats. Like, he's crazy.
He's like, you guys talk so loud. I've heard you since you got here.
Yeah, I smell you. He's almost in a different movie, too. He's just, like, going for it, and I love it.
Oh, he is really going for it.
I really enjoyed his take. It was almost a little jarring, but with the tone of the rest of the movie, but I respect what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Same.
He takes him to his hideout. It's like an old crashed Predator ship or something. It's been there for like 10 years, it seems.
Yeah, it's some like secret. It's got like a secret tunnel, and yeah.
Yeah, he's like made his little pack rat storage area where he's like got the different, like he just scavenged stuff throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
And gives some exposition about like how long he's been there, this and that, how many he's killed, while he talks to like his imaginary friend. And Royce is just like, I want to steal that ship, and he's just like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that?
And I love how he doesn't have like full-on conversations with his friend, with his imaginary friend.
Yeah,
it's literally just like asides.
Yes. They're just, it's like interjecting. It's like, no, I won't tell him. But
yeah, exactly.
Because you could play that up too much. It's like, okay,
all right, we get it. You're crazy.
It was semi-subtle, and I appreciate that. I mean, it wasn't subtle, but it could have been a lot more in your face and like played ridiculously.
Right.
But he explains all this stuff, and Royce is still dead set on the ship. He's just like, hey, what are you gonna fly it? You idiot. I mean, he's kind of right. It's like,
yeah, how the fuck are you gonna get out of here?
And even if you know how to fly it, even if you figure out how to fly it, you don't know where you are. Like, how are you gonna get back to Earth?
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. So after this, Nolan wants a nap. He's tuckered out. It's had a long day. The rest of them kind of like chat a bit. They kind of, like put their guards down. We learn a little more background about each character, which is nice. They come to the conclusion, like, that other predator, like he mentioned something like there's two groups of predators, like the smaller ones and the bigger ones, and they seem to like hate each other. There's some blood feud, I believe he says.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and that was why he's like, Royce is thinking the one that was tied up must be, the one on the opposite group. So yeah, an enemy of my friend is my friend, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, they may not like us, but if we maybe he can help us fly off this, like if we let him go. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like, okay, that makes sense.
Not a bad plan.
Yeah. So they're having all this little heart-to-hearts, and that's kind of their plan. Nolan then turns on him. Really bad plan by him, by the way.
He's gonna smoke him out?
Yeah, it's not a good plan. I gotta be honest. For someone who's survived as long as he has, not a good plan.
And he's just sitting there, just like fanning it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, not great. Locks him into the room and like tries to smoke him out. Royce just makes a bunch of racket to because he's like, fucking, I'm just gonna draw the predators here and like let the chips fall where they may, kind of thing. Which seems like a really stupid plan, but it does work, I guess.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, and Nolan gets got like right away.
Dude, blown to shit.
They try to escape. Doc gets separated somehow. Like he's on the other side of this like wall. He's like, "Don't leave me, don't leave me." They're just like, "No, we're leaving you, bro."
Bye, bitch.
Yeah, but the Russian guy is, I guess, a good dude. I don't know, or he feels some sort of like he owes him because he stops him from getting paralyzed earlier. Which also, what are you doing, Russian dude? Like that thing's clearly not something you want to touch. Don't touch that.
It looks like a fucking mutated Venus flytrap.
Yeah,
What's this?
Man,
No,
don't touch that, you idiot. But yeah, he goes back to save him while the rest escape. Russian gets blasted by one of the energy weapons, and they stab him, and the Doc gets away, but he's like, he goes out like a hero. He's got like a claymore strapped to his chest. He's just like, boom,
boom, bye.
I love action movie explosions that just don't make any sense, because like a claymore isn't like an HE round. It's not like a high explosive. It's a bunch of ball bearings that explode, and essentially like a jacked up shotgun. That's like what a claymore is. It's not.
I thought he pulled a grenade.
It was a claymore strapped to his chest.
Oh.
Yeah, which would have killed it, but it wouldn't have caused. I mean, whatever. That's not a complaint. It's just I noticed.
Movies.
Yeah, exactly. And kills that one and himself. Goes out like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Stands. He starts celebrating like a big dumb idiot. Like, yeah, we got him. Like, you didn't do anything.
You didn't do shit.
Ran away with your tail between your legs. But he's super stoked. Of course, gets blasted in the back while he's doing a touchdown celebration. And the rest are on. Like, you know, they're about to kill Royce, and Stan's in dead. Like, grabs him, and he's just like, he says some things that I can't repeat. That are just wild and they took me aback when he said.
Yeah.
Like, what did he say?
Yeah, it was very like a very early 2000s thing to say that would not fly today. Let's just, we can leave. We can.
Yeah,
it's just like that.
It made me like double think. I was like, "Excuse me." But yeah, he's a horrible dude. So of course, he stabs it up a bit, but you know, he eventually gets killed.
And he gets his spine pulled out.
Yeah,
like they did in the games and the what was that? The second movie. Oh
yeah, he's big dead.
Big time dead. And Yakuza dude is here to bang.
Yeah,
he's not going out without a fight.
We kind of have like the stereotypical, like, oh, the Eastern Asian, like cerebral, like with honor, and you know, and he never says
kind of like Billy in the first movie.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's a little okay, but yeah, he finds like a samurai sword in amongst Nolan's treasures and fights one on one, which is a great fight scene.
It's a great fight scene.
I love how they're in that field, and it almost feels like they're in Japan with like the flowing reeds, and like it made me think of Ghost of Tsushima, that video game.
Yeah.
Just great, by the way.
I need to say that.
It's so good. Yeah, it seemed like it felt like a little bit of that. So it was nice. It looked good, and it's fun fight. But yeah, the hell, whatever. That's the whole thing. They fight. They kill each other basically.
Yeah, you think because you know the Predator walks away and then he falls, and you're like, "Whoa, the Japanese dude won!" And then he falls too.
Yeah,
they basically took each other out.
Yep. So that means there's only one left. So the remaining people are basically the Doctor, Isabel, and Royce. And as they're running, the Doc gets caught in a space bear trap, and it like hobbles him. And Royce is just like, "Look, that trap wasn't intended to kill; it's intended to maim. So like, slow us down. Like, leave him. He's dead." Yeah.
And did you notice how when he's like, "I've got kids," and he used the Russian guy's picture of the kids?
Yeah,
that's like
he's something scummy going on here.
Yeah, that's like the first instance where you're like,
Yeah. Yeah, because you could play off the thing that he left the Russian, because it's like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, but which seems scummy, but yeah, what's he gonna do to save him? Like, he doesn't have any weapons. He's a little meek little mouse. So Royce wants to leave him, just make it to the ship, get the Predator, make it to the ship. Isabel has a conscience. It's like, no, I'm gonna like carry him. I love how Royce even like breaks it down. He's like, yeah, first he's gonna want us to slow down, then he's gonna want us to carry him, and like that, like he just plays out exactly how it's gonna go. He's being a pragmatist, but like a cold-hearted son of a bitch.
He's being a cold-hearted son of a bitch because you think he's probably seen shit happen.
I mean,
like
he's
that
right.
before.
He's 100% right, but he doesn't know the guy's a scumbag yet. But but he's still right. So she like tries to help him. He goes to have a little chat with the tied up Predator. He cuts him down because he's like, I want you to fly me out. Like, like, yeah, you understand me. And he's just like, I understand you. He's just like, fine. He grudgingly. Like when he cuts him down and he just flops on the ground like a sack of potatoes. He's thump.
He's been tied up for so long, all of his shit doesn't work properly.
I just love how he just hits the ground so hard. It's funny. But yeah, then he like strangles him for a minute and it's just like, fine. He gets his little helmet mask back on and all this stuff like lights up, And I didn't notice this until this last viewing, but he like, because I was thinking, how does he know? Like, does he know exactly what he's trying to do, or what he wants? And he puts a little thing on his little wrist computer, and it has a little hologram, and it's of Earth.
Oh,
so I
didn't notice that.
Yeah, I know where you want to go. Like he gets it. He knows exactly what's going on. Yeah, I never noticed that till this last viewing. Because he like starts up the ship like basically on autopilot. So it's basically telling Royce, hey, I just set this on autopilot. Like, go get on it because train's leaving. I got some shit to do, but you go do your thing. And so yeah, which he does. They're buds now, I guess.
BFFs.
Yeah, big time buds. And Isabel and Doc, they're still like trudging along, get caught in a net like a bunch of dummies.
Of course.
Freed Predator, he goes to fight like the last hunter Predator. Royce goes for the ship while they tussle. He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Which he probably should have stayed and helped, in hindsight. But ship takes off. Hunter Predator. Rondo has the upper hand. Kills the other Predator like big time. Just cuts his fucking head off.
Holy shit! And all the neon blood is such a great touch too.
It really is. And then like a badass walking away from an explosion, taps a couple buttons on his little wrist computer, and the ship blows up in the background as he walks away. He doesn't even look at it.
Bad guys walk away from explosions.
Yep, he nails it. Then Isabel and the Doc, they're in like this pit, all screwed basically. They can't get out, and that's when we find out he's like this psycho killer. He slices her with paralyzing stuff from the beginning, from that little, and he's just like, I like it here.
He's like, I'm like them. I'm a monster too. And you're
yeah.
What?
Here I'm normal. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna bring him into their little cabal of hunting. Like, no, you little wiener.
Yeah, like that. It does seem kind of weird that they would bring. Excuse me, bring him in.
Yeah, they wouldn't. It's insane. It's dumb. Whatever. Royce comes back right before he does Isabel in, and helps him out of the pit. And before he can do the same to Royce, because Isabel can't talk. She's all paralyzed and shit. I do like her eyes are just like trying to tell him something.
Yeah.
But he stabs the Doc before he can paralyze him. He's like, yeah, you're a good guy. He's like, no, but I'm fast.
Just casually stab Topher.
Yeah, right in the chin. And uses him as bait basically for a trap. Like, don't kill me, don't kill me. He's like, I'm not gonna kill you.
Because I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'm not wearing hockey pads.
What's the big line that Batman has? He's like, because people are willing to do good. He has like a whole like 2-minute long thing where it's just all like that.
People want to be good. You know, people, let's get expository about this. Yeah, they use him as a trap. Place him with a bunch of like grenades and shit. And the Predator finds him, then blows them both up. Doesn't kill the Predator, just kind of like just dazes him a bit. Then Royce just apparently got like slathered in mud all real quick. Just smeared him with mud like a bagel.
Just smeared him. Just some smear.
I was like, how did he do that? But okay, whatever. He's fine. He's covered in mud.
Come on, do it. Do it.
He gives the whole, dude, kill me.
I'm here. Come on.
Which is kind of tacked on, but I still liked. Yeah, they fight sort of. Like he's using like the mud and the fire around to just like run in and like smack him a bit. Yeah, just popping out. He's just running a marathon. Yeah, he smacks him around a bit, and then he starts getting his ass kicked. Isabella luckily starts coming around from her poisoning. Shoots the predator, but he like fires something off and shanks her a bit in the shoulder. And that just gives Royce enough time to bludgeon him to death and then cut his head off.
I love the Predator beheadings.
Yeah, I know. There's multiple ones. They're great. Yeah, so they win. They have a nice moment and appreciate they didn't make them kiss or do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Even though there was a little bit of chemistry, like I could have.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
For sure,
like, just because two pretty people win at the end doesn't mean they have to make out.
Exactly.
Next day or so, I don't know. It's hard to tell with the time lapse. They see more parachutes in the sky. It's like the next crop coming in. Now, let's find a way off this fucking planet. And credits.
This was a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun.
Right?
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it the second time around.
Yeah, it's like if you take it for what it is, it's not groundbreaking. It takes the lore in a different direction. It introduces new things. It has its nods to the original.
It's homages. Yeah. I've got some trivia if you want to hear it.
Oh, it is some trivia.
According to Nimrod Antal, I'm sure I'm not saying that right.
Great name.
Nimrod. I think it has a
there's an accent
mark over the O.
Yeah, it's probably it's Nimrod, but I like to think that it is because that's a fun name.
And Robert Rodriguez on the commentary in the script, the character Cuchillo was described as a guy who looks like Danny Trejo. When Danny Trejo heard this, he called Robert Rodriguez and said, "Hey, I heard there's a guy in the script for Predators who looks just like Danny Trejo. And guess what? I look just like Danny Trejo."
I guess who looks like Danny Trejo? Me, motherfucker.
Me, motherfucker. Give me the part, please. Thank you.
Great, too.
While filming a fight scene, Oleg Taktarov hit his face on a Steadicam camera and started bleeding. He insisted that filming continue to add effect to the scene.
Love that.
Of course, the Russian dude is a badass in real life, too.
It's like, rub some Stoli on it. Let's keep filming.
Hanzo, the Yakuza guy, is missing 2 fingers on his left hand. The reason that the Yakuza traditionally cut their fingers starting from the left pinky is that these fingers have a vital role in controlling a Japanese sword, and their loss would significantly impair a duelist. Hanzo must be a formidable swordsman to be able to fight in close combat as he did, despite the loss of his fingers.
Yeah, makes sense.
Badass. Antal specifically chose Adrian Brody for the main protagonist. Quote, "It was a challenge in finding a balance. When we cast Adrian, there were a lot of people going, what? But at the same time, if we cast a Vin Diesel in that role or anyone who is Arnold-esque, we would have been attacked for doing that. So we decided early on to go in a very different direction as far as the casting process. But it turned out fantastic."
I respect that. Like, I totally understand that mindset. It's like we're paying homage, but we're also want to do our own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if that would have been my choice, but I like the idea of that.
Yeah, same here. One of the mandates for the production team was that they only looked to the original Predator from 1987 as for reference points, which I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, they didn't really reference anything else.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people shit on the second one, and it's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I need to revisit that one again because it has been way too long.
Yeah, we haven't done it on here. We did a stream of it a while back, but I would absolutely do that on here as well.
Gosh, maybe we should just have a Predator month.
Yeah, I know.
The original script contained cameo appearances by Dutch and Michael Harrigan, Danny Glover, the protagonists of previous Predator films. However, these appearances were ultimately cut out, which makes sense because what the fuck are they going to be doing?
That's what I alluded to. Like, he was supposed to be leading like a group of predators, I believe Dutch was, or something like that. Like, he'd become like a hunter.
Yeah.
He's actually the only appearance I believe Arnold's made. There was a recent video game that I think he did the voice of.
Yeah. I think it's because his big thing was if it wasn't a leading role, he didn't want it. I think that was the reason he said for the Shane Black movie, because he's like, it's not a lead role and I don't want to do it.
So, I mean, I'd believe that. From what I'd heard, it was just like the story. He's like, if it's not, because he holds that first one in high reverence, which he should. Like,
he should. It's great.
Masterpiece. And he didn't want to take anything away from it unless it was like the right role, the right time, the right whatever.
Which I think he made the right choice for the Shane Black one, because that one
was a lot of talk. Like, they thought about taking bringing Ripley back to like have her at the end, like all sorts of weird.
Oh no! No, thanks. One indication that the predators have been using the hunting grounds for a very long time. When they first come into the predator camp, there is a Neanderthal skull next to a human skull on the ground as a trophy.
No, that's detail. I mean, no one other than like a paleontologist would notice that.
Yeah. I like the attention to detail.
Did you see that? Oh, I'm divorced. That's my character.
And then the person watching it with him was just nerd.
Yeah, the person watching is like, yeah, here's your next divorce.
Although all the main locations were filmed in Hawaii, 60% of the movie was shot in Texas in order to be eligible for a tax benefit. How the fuck did they shoot it in Texas? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, a lot of jungle brought in.
Yeah, seriously. Hanzo's name is a reference to Hattori Hanzo, a legendary Japanese samurai of the Sengoku era.
That's the name of the swords in Kill Bill, right? The Hanzo.
And which is great too, because Robert Rodriguez had a lot to do with this movie, and he's great fans of Tarantino.
Yeah. I appreciated the R rating as well.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, that's probably another reason this movie didn't do as well. That was back when like R rating often cut into the profits quite a bit. Like, now it's not really a big deal, but
not anymore. No. According to Robert Rodriguez on the DVD commentary, Walton Goggins had been cast in the role of Stans, but Rodriguez felt the character was written far too much like the character Hudson in Aliens. So Rodriguez had the part rewritten and asked director Nimrod Antal to recast the role. But Antal insisted that Goggins could still do the role and scheduled a meeting between Goggins, Rodriguez, and him. Within a very short period of time, Rodriguez was convinced that Walton was right for the part.
There was a little, now that you mentioned, there's some dusting of Hudson. It's like, like, what are we doing? Like, game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man.
There's a little bit of that. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Oh man, like I don't ever want them to remake Aliens, obviously, but he'd be the only choice for Hudson for me.
He'd be great. Great.
He'd be the only choice. Like any other, I still wouldn't love it, but I'd be like, okay.
Gosh, that might have to be a recast that we do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best. I mean, that's the winner right there.
Yeah, totally. At the point Nolan is introduced, you hear the lines, "Over here, turn around." These lines are spoken by Bill Duke to Carl Weathers in the first Predator movie. The lines are either a nod to the original movie or represent the Predator's ability to record and transfer sounds and data between themselves in real time, as the first Predator didn't survive to do this himself.
Yeah, see, I love that. Like, I didn't even pick up on that. My recent viewings, in compared to my original viewing, there's so much reverence for the original film. It wasn't trying to copy it. Like, it was its own thing, but it was like a lot of like nods towards this is what got us here. Like, this is the greatest of all time. Like, we're just trying to do our best to keep the story going. But like, this is where like the filmmakers were fans of the series.
It was a great homage for sure.
Yeah, it's very, very clear and obvious that they were, which adds a lot to my enjoyment, honestly. Because like before, I don't think I could have separated the two of like, oh, they're just copying it, and now I honestly believe it's an homage. Like it's a loving tribute to like what came before, and like we love this franchise. We think it's incredible, and what happened before was amazing, and we're just doing our best to keep it.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like if this movie had either come out in 1992 or like last year, it would have done a lot better.
I agree. Like now is the time for this movie.
Yeah. And last, but certainly not least, body count. Body count.
I could sit here and do the math. I'm not going to. I'm just gonna say 6.
20, it said.
What? Are we counting predators and dogs and like people killed off screen? Maybe.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because there weren't 20 characters in this movie.
There wasn't 20 characters, but maybe characters killed off screen, predators, dogs, anything living, basically.
I guess, and like that other alien. Okay.
Sure. Okay, IMDb.
Sure, whatever.
But that was a lot of fun. But what's even more fun? What are we doing next week?
Oh, coming up next week to stick with our little Predator theme that we just all of a sudden crafted out of thin air for no reason at all. We will be doing the Hulu specific Prey.
Directed by Dan Trachtenberg. I loved this movie, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah, I tried to watch it again with a while back with because they do the Native American dubbing.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, but it's hard to watch because it's still in English, and it's like why you don't watch like Squid Game or something with the American dubbing, because it just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Like, I wish I understand why they didn't, but I wish the whole movie would have been filmed in I think it's Cherokee. I wish it would have been filmed in that, and then the whole thing would have been subtitles.
Yeah, that would have. Oh my god, that would have been so awesome.
Yeah, I think that would have been something special. I get why they didn't, because Americans are so stupid and we don't want to read subtitles. But I watch everything with subtitles, so that's a thing for me, and I feel like that would have added just an extra layer and element to it that would have been so cool. I get why, again, but I think they missed an opportunity to make something really special with that.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't recommend necessarily, especially not your first view watching it that way, because it's distracting. It just is. Yeah. Like I don't like to go back to it. I don't watch Squid Game with the American dub over. I watched it in Korean
in its native language, because that's how it's meant to be shown.
with English subtitles. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just, but yeah, that's my soapbox.
Anything else you want to add?
That's about all I got. Why don't you hit us where you can find us?
You can find us at www.actionmoviebookclub.com. You can also find us on Twitter at ActionMovieBC or on Instagram at Action Movie Book Club. Also, check us out on YouTube. We're posting a lot of fun videos. We're going to be posting more. Also on TikTok with all the kids and all the cool people. Hit us up on there.
I don't know why. I'm like afraid to post again because since my last post, there's been like every time I look back, there's like a couple hundred more people, and I don't know what's going on. I'm afraid to post anything.
Well, I mean, keep checking out the videos, people. Apparently, people like them. So people like them and people like us. So keep doing what you're doing, and you know we love doing this. So give us a like and subscribe on any platform where you listen or watch. Help boost us in the algorithm, get us in more people's ears or eyeballs, because that's what we like and that's what we want to do.
Absolutely. Also, I have a new show, Comic Book Club.
Yes.
That will be coming out very soon. We've recorded the first episode. I'm actually doing the second one tonight after this. But the first one went really long, so I'm still in the process of editing that and figuring out how to release it in a way that people would want to consume it. Because 3 hours, too long.
That's a long time.
Yeah, Charlotte and I can't shut the fuck up. So, I mean, that's the way it is. But yeah, I'm probably gonna whack that into 2 at least. I'm still working on that, but that should be out by the end of the month.
Perfect.
Yeah, in January. It's gonna be out.
Yeah, we'll make a big announcement on our page and on all of our platforms to let people know where to see it and where to find it.
That because as anyone who listens knows, I just want to talk about comic books all the time, and anytime the subject comes up, I go off on a tangent, and I can't be stopped.
Tangent.
So if you enjoy that at least a little bit, it's a lot more of it.
Well, that sounds great. I know I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and you'll come on, and everyone will have all sorts of your reoccurring characters you see on here on having friends of the show will participate, and it's a real good time.
Hell yeah. Anything else?
That's about all I got. Why don't you take us out?
Happy trails, Hans.
Kill me!